Hey guys, and welcome back to Kitchen Table Mtg. I am your host, Lindsay the Evil Twin Lohan, and today we're going over the Battlebond Set review. So we're going to take a look at some of these cards that I thought, were kind of interesting to play and which formats we can put them in. Ton of Commander stuff, ton of great reprints. They got some new mechanics in here we're going to go over first. But yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a super fun set to draft with a buddy, go to the game store, play a little two-headed giant. And the set was very, it was designed super good for the for two-headed giant format. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely try to do at least one draft and have some fun. But let's get into the new mechanics here. We've got Friend or Foe up first. I mean, it isn't technically a new mechanic, it's just renamed. But I couldn't find a whole hell of a lot in here that I actually liked. We've got Pit's Whim, which is 3 of any color and 1 green for a sorcery. Then you choose Friend or Foe. Each friend searches their library for a land card, which is pretty nice. You're searching for any land you want. And then each foe has to sacrifice an artifact or an enchantment, which, I don't know. I mean, you get it out early enough, it might do some work, but it's not targeted. I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually going to put this in any decks. I mean, it'll be fun, in the Battlebond draft. It's going to be a pretty sweet card. But, yeah, I think I'd rather just run Sylvan Scrying. And then Skyshroud Claim is printed in the same set. You're going to pay the same amount and search your library for 2 forests and put them into play. They're untapped, so after Skyshroud Claim resolves, I mean, it pretty much cost you 2. For 2 lands, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm not finding a whole hell of a lot of good Friend or Foe cards. Next up, we've got Assist, and let's read this. Another player can pay up to whatever the colorless mana is of the card. So, it's only one player, and they have to help you pay, or I mean, they don't have to, but they can help you pay the mana cost of the spell. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything really that I could see putting in anything else other than Battlebond. I mean, maybe if you're building two-headed giant decks, some of these are okay, but I mean, we've got like Out of Bounds, 3 of any color and 1 blue, so you can have your team or whoever the hell is going to pay. They can pay up to 3 to counter target spell, and it's, I don't know. I mean, why not just run counter spell or council or, any other counter out there? It's just 4 for a counter, so hopefully maybe someone can help you pay for it. I don't know. I don't think any of these are very good. I think they're all overcosted, but it will be fun to screw around with when you're playing Battlebond, so I mean, definitely, if you're going to play some two-headed giant, build some of your own personal two-headed giant decks, maybe these are okay. But I just think, for EDH, trying to stick a card in there that maybe someone will help you pay the cost of, it's just, it's not always a for sure thing. And I think you're putting cards in your deck that might work. You don't want to put stuff in your EDH deck that might work. So yeah, I didn't really like that. And then the partner mechanics, I mean, they were pretty cool. The new partner mechanic, if you cast the one, you guys search your library for the other one and put it into your hand. Just everything there too. It was super expensive, pretty overcosted. And there's some people talking about the planeswalkers and Planeswalker commanders and everything else. I didn't like any of them, so yeah, that pretty much does it for the new stuff. Wasn't really a fan. It'll be fun in Battlebond, but for EDH I just don't see it happening. I mean, even 60 card casual, I just don't see any of it. There's just too much good stuff out there to put these super expensive spells in, so let's jump into the artifacts here. So first up, we've got Genesis Chamber, and this is 2 of any color for an artifact. Whenever a non-token creature comes into play, If Genesis Chamber is untapped, that creature's controller puts a 1/1 Myr artifact creature token into play. I mean, so you can build around this in your artifact decks that you're tapping and untapping it, but I think this thing's really a winner. You know, you get a persist combo out there, and just keep bringing that persist creature back, sacking him out, he comes back, and you make an army of 1/1 Myrs. So, I mean, that's a pretty good value there. It turns your persist combo into a 4-card combo that doesn't win right away, but yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty fun. Next up, we've got Mind's Eye. So whenever an opponent draws a card, you may pay 1 if you do draw a card, and this is a 5 of any color artifact. I mean, that's just going to be a super nice reprint. Super nice reprint. We needed it. You know, Boros, mono white, mono red. But, you know, I mean, this goes in quite a lot of decks, I think. Your opponent has a Consecrated Sphinx out. I mean, you're just paying to draw cards all day, man. That's great value. Next up, we've got Mycosynth Lattice. 6 of any color for an artifact. All permanents are artifacts in addition to their other types. All cards that aren't in play, spells, and permanents are colorless, and players may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast spells. Yeah, so this is really good with Darksteel Forge, you know. I mean, I don't personally have an artifact deck of my own. I've never actually seen this card in play, but with Darksteel Forge, that's just going to be amazing. Everything's going to be indestructible. Everything you own is going to be indestructible. That's going to be a lot of fun. So, and hard to get rid of, you know. It'd be hard to get rid of that, but let's jump into some sorceries here. First up, we've got bonus round. So 1 of any color, red for a sorcery. Until end of turn, whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, that player copies it and may choose new targets for that copy. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you want to storm off. This is just gonna help. I mean, this is gonna be a pretty sweet card. It's right now it's about $3. Hopefully it goes down, but yeah, I think this will definitely be a fun card to play around with. Another fun card for the cube, we've got Chain Lightning. 1 red for a sorcery. Chain Lightning deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Then that player or that creature's controller may pay red. If that player does, he or she may copy this spell and may choose new targets for that copy. So, I mean, I've seen this go, you know, 2 to 3 players before. It's pretty fun. I don't know. It's going to be a fun cube card. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say about that. Next up, we've got my favorite reprint out of the set. We've got Diabolic Intent, 1 of any color and 1 green for a sorcery. As an additional cost, you have to sacrifice a creature, and then it's Demonic Tutor. I mean, you search your library for a card and put that card into your hand. This thing definitely needed a reprint. You know, it was up to $25-$30. Now it's, I'm hoping it's going to get down to like, you know, 14, maybe lower than that. I hope. But yeah, I need this for a couple of decks. And you know, for like Marin, this card's even better than Demonic Tutor, because you're going to get that sack outlet that you might not have had. You know, be able to sack your Sakura Tribuilder, or not your Sakura Tribuilder, your Primal Druid, and get your land, and hopefully that was enough counters to bring it back. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff you can do with this. I really like Diabolic Intent. Okay, let's jump into some instants here. First up, I want to talk about Beast Within and Swords to Plowshare. I mean, these are both uncommon, I think. Yeah, both uncommon. And, you know, Swords to Plowshare was $1. Beast Within was at $2. So hopefully, I mean, just, you know, check through the commons and uncommons at your game store. Because if you can pick a couple of these up for $1, definitely worth it. You know, definitely worth it. It's going to drop the price so you can get some extra copies for future decks. So those are pretty sweet reprints. I mean, Swords to Plowshare has been printed so many times in the past couple of years. It's crazy. You think they would finally get a Path to Exile reprint, but I don't know. Maybe here in a couple sets, maybe in the Commander 2018, we'll see. But definitely need a Path to Exile reprint. Next up, we've got Mystic Confluence. 3 of any color, blue for an instant. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3 of any color. Return target creature to its owner's hand, or draw a card. This is a super nice control card. I mean, this definitely need a reprint. What's it at, $10 now? Hopefully it gets down to like the 6 or 7 mark. We'll see on that, but I'm gonna be picking a couple of these up. I mean, you can put them in a couple different formats. This is pretty sweet to be able to, you know, draw a card, bounce a creature, and counter a spell, or just, you know, use 2 of the counters so they cannot cast it, and then draw a card. Or, I mean, it's so much. You know, those options are just so nice. It's a super sweet card. Next up, we've got Stunning Reversal. Now, this is a new card. 3 of any color and a black. At least I think it's a new card. I've never seen it before. The next time you would lose the game this turn, instead draw 7 cards and your life total becomes 1. Exile Stunning Reversal. Now, you know, this doesn't go in every deck, but if you're running a combo heavy deck and you needed that 1 turn extra to just, you know, save yourself and combo off, this might be okay. And it's 4 mana, instant speed, but yeah, I think if you're running super competitive and you know you're gonna win with the combo, and this is just gonna help you, it might be worth trying out in your deck. I don't know if it's gonna be an all-star, but definitely worth at least taking a look at. Okay, so let's jump into some enchantments here. We got some really good stuff here. We've got Angelic Chorus. 3 of any color, white for an enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness. Yeah, I mean, every Alia, the Eternal Pilgrim deck wants this. You know, Aether Flux Reservoir. This is any type of life gain strategy you're going for. You know, 60 card casual, EDH, whatever you're doing, this is going to be pretty sweet. Next up, we've got Battle Mastery. 2 of any color and a white. For an enchantment aura, we enchant creature, and the enchant creature has double strike. So there's only really one place you want to put this, and that is Zur the Enchanter. So, I mean, once the first time you attack with Zur, you can go and equip this to him, and then the next time you attack, you get to go and search your library for 2 enchantment cards. It's just, I mean, in Zur, this thing's an all-star, man. Definitely good reprint for him. It was cheap, you know, you could have picked this up anyway, but yeah, if you had a Zur just sitting around in your folder or something, you know, this is a good start to build him. So next up, we've got Doubling Season. I mean, this, you don't even need to talk about this. This was a $60 card. 4 of any color and 1 green. If an effect would put 1 or more tokens onto the battlefield under your control, it puts twice that many tokens onto the battlefield. So it's an Anointed Procession, Splendid Reclamation, or not Splendid Reclamation. Man, I don't remember what the green one's called. I got a mind blank, but and then there's another green one, Primal. I don't remember. And then it's got the additional text of, if an effect would place 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, that's the keyword permanent, it places twice that many of those counters on that permanent instead. So yeah, I mean, this is how people get their Super Friends decks. This is how they alt their Planeswalkers. It's a great card. Don't need to say anything about that. Next up, we've got Dragon's Breath, and this is a super casual card. I mean, this is, you know, you got those 60 card casuals, or just a really janky big beater EDH deck. It's 1 of any color and 1 red for an enchant aura. An enchanted creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each red that you pay. So, you know, I mean, you get the creature attacking in super big. And then whenever a creature with converted mana cost 6 or more enters the battlefield, you may return Dragon Breath from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to this creature. So if you're doing any type of dredge shenanigans, or, you know, milling yourself out, this is just a cool little value engine here. Next up, we've got Greater Good. Now this card's amazing, man. 2 of any color. green for an enchantment. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. I mean, you don't even need to be running the persist combo for this to just be great value. It's just, yeah, I love this card. I gotta put a couple more of these in some decks. And the fact that it's a free sack outlet, you know, they could have put like pay 1 and people would still run this card. But since it's free, it just, you know, it makes it that much better. Love Greater Good. Glad to see it reprinted. I hope this thing gets down to like 10 or 12 bucks. We'll see, I don't know. Next up, we've got Land Tax, a 1-drop enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. So, of course, you know, Boros, mono white, we're going to want to run this. But, you know, any 4 or 5, even 3-color deck, you know, you're playing with 3 other opponents when you're playing EDH, so somebody's going to have more lands than you. You probably got that mono green deck that's just ramping lands out, so, you know, this doesn't put them into play, but it definitely helps fix your mana. So it's a $20 card, definitely need a reprint. Next up, we've got Stolen Strategy. This is a 4 of any color and 1 red for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-land cards from among those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color for those spells. So, yeah, I mean, this is like send triplets in red. This is just super fun, you know? I mean, it's just a fun card. It's pretty expensive, you know, 5 mana, but I think it's just really fun. And people hate when you steal their cards and you're casting their stuff. It's just, yeah, I'm definitely going to screw around with this thing a little bit, but I don't know where I'm putting it yet. I don't know, maybe make 5-color send triplets, huh? Next up, we've got Together Forever. White for an enchantment. When Together Forever enters the battlefield, support 2. So you're going to put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures. And then you may pay 1 of any color. Choose target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. When that creature dies, this turn, return that card to its owner's hand. So, yeah, I mean, this is going into Traxa. Anything with the 1/1 counters. Not a super exciting card, but yeah, it'll be places. You'll see it around. Next up, we've got War's Toll. 3 of any color, 1 red for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, tap all lands that player controls. If a creature an opponent controls attacks, all creatures that opponent controls attack. So this is just going to help out when you're playing aggro. You're going to make all of your opponents play aggro. The only difference is your deck's built for it, theirs is not. So yeah, this is good. I mean, yeah, this is a nice red card. Solid red card. It'll be fun to play around with. Put it in your dragon deck, whatever. Let's get into some creatures here. First up, we've got Apocalypse Hydra, and this fun casual card. You're making a big beater deck. X, red-green. It's a 0/0 creature Hydra, and Apocalypse Hydra enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. If X is 5 or more, it enters the battlefield with an additional X. So, yeah, I mean, you're paying 6. This thing's coming down as a 12/12. Then it has the added text of 1 of any color and 1 red. Remove a 1/1 counter from Apocalypse Hydra. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So, I mean, that's pretty expensive to ping someone out, but yeah, this is just big beater. It's going to be fun to play around with. You know, your super casual deck. Yeah, it's all right. Whatever. Next up, we've got Azra Oddsmaker. So Azra Oddsmaker is 1 of any color and 1 black, 1 red for a 3/3 Azra Warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may discard a card. If you do, choose a creature. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, then draw 2 cards. So yeah, just a little Rakdos Rakdos draw engine. You know, it's going to help get stuff in your graveyard. It's going to help you pay some madness costs. There's going to be a ton of different ways to screw around with this. I just think it's a pretty solid card. So, what do we got next here? We've got Bramble Sovereign, another new card here. 2 of any color, green, for a 4/4 Dryad. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 of any color and 1 green. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. So this kind of got a blue theme to it. You know, I mean, if it didn't say that creature's controller, it would definitely be a blue card. But I mean, this is gonna help you copy your big beaters, copy, you know, your utility creatures. If you've got an opponent that has a Woodfall Primus entering, or like an Acidic Slime or something, and you need something else off the battlefield, maybe you can, you know, make a little deal here. Got kind of a political aspect to it. This is a super solid card. Next up, we've got Brightling, and this is a cube staple. 1 of any color, red, for a creature shapeshifter 3/3, pay 1 white. Brightling gains vigilance until end of turn, pay 1 white. Brightling gains lifelink until end of turn, and pay 1 white. Brightling, return Brightling to its owner's hand, and then you can pay 1 of any color. Brightling gets +1, -1, or -1, +1 until end of turn. I mean, this is 550. I'm really hoping this thing gets down to like $3 or $4. We're throwing it in our cube for sure. You know, the kitchen table cube. Yeah, this thing's just an all-star, man. This is a top pick in cube. Really liked it. Let's jump into another one here. We've got Evil Twin, 2 of any color, 1 blue, 1 black, for a shapeshifter 0/0. You may have Evil Twin enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it gains pay 1 blue, 1 black, tap, destroy target creature with the same name as this creature. So yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of removal, you know, you got a shapeshifter. And shapeshifters go all over the place, so, you know, build a shapeshifter tribal deck. That's fun. I had one of those once. It was a lot of fun to play. What we got next here? We've got Goblin Raise Runner. 2 of any color, red, for a 3/4 Goblin Warrior. It has pay 1 of any color and 1 red. Sacrifice a land, put a 1/1 counter on Goblin Raise Runner. At the beginning of your turn, at the end of your turn, you may have Goblin Raise Runners deal damage equal to the number of 1/1 counters on it to target player. So obviously the way we're putting 1/1 counters on it with this, you know, with the card itself isn't going to be that great. But yeah, I mean, there you go. There's another combo engine for Persist, you know. Throw a Cathar's Crusade in with it and just put all your 1/1 counters on this. There's a lot you can do with this. This is a pretty solid damage dealing card. So next up, we've got another great cube card. This can slot into EDH as well. Core Spirit Dancer, 1 of any color and 1 white, for 0/2. It gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. Whenever you cast an aura spell, you may draw a card. Super solid, sweet card. I mean, you know, you're getting the card draw out of it. You're gonna get her up there pretty big. You know, in cube, this is gonna be a lot of fun because you're gonna be able to make a big creature and you're gonna be drawing some cards off of it. So it's like it fills 2 slots with 1 card. Super nice. Next up, we've got a new legendary creature. This is Krav the Unredeemed. It's a legendary creature demon, 3/3. It costs 4 of any color and 1 black, and it partners with Regna the Redeemer, which, you know, I mean, if you want to go in Orzhov, you could run her. You know, if you want this to be your general, you can just run her for the hell of it. I don't think she's worth her mana cost. Whenever you gain life, you put 2 1/1s or whatever down. I don't think she's worth anything. But Krav is pay 1 black, sacrifice X creatures, target player draws X cards, and you gain X life. Put X 1/1 counters on Krav the unredeemed. So yeah, I mean, if you did have Ragna the Redeemed, you know, whenever you're sacking these creatures, you're gonna get some creatures off of her, but there are so many better ways to make tokens. I don't know. I don't know if I really like this card. But yeah, Crab, that's pretty sweet, you know. It's not bad. It's kind of expensive, but definitely at least going to 99 to some decks. So next up we've got Lay Weaver. So this is a new Agarthian, or Agarthian Elder, except it's not an elf, so it's not going to go infinite with Wirewood Lodge. But it's 3 of any color, 1 green for a creature human druid, 2/2, and you can partner with Lore Weaver if you want to, and it says tap, untap 2 target lands. So that's pretty sweet, you know, druid tribal. This might do some work. Next up we've got Magus of the Candelabra, 1 green for a 1/2 human wizard. It has pay X, tap, untap X target lands. So, I mean, this goes infinite with Staff of Domination. There's a couple of ways to make this go infinite with the right mana base. So that's pretty sweet, you know. He's $2. I didn't think he was that expensive before this came out, but got a couple of him sitting in my binder. Next up we have Nihili the Blade Blossom, 2 of any color and 1 red for a legendary creature human warrior, 3/2. Whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that's tapped and attacking. So that's whenever a warrior attacks. So each warrior you're going to get that token. And it has pay Wooburg, untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Activate this ability only during combat. I mean, this thing is nuts. Warrior tribal. Yeah, I mean, this thing is going to be crazy. That's pretty strong. That's a pretty strong general. He's sitting at about $8. I don't know if that's going to go down. I don't know. I mean, you are in tribal, but there's a ton of warriors out there. This thing's pretty nice here. Next up, we've got another reprint. This one was sitting at $20. Nirkana Reverent, 4 of any color, black for a Vampire Shade. It's a 4/4, and whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add black to your mana pool. And then it has the ability to pay 1 black. Nirkana Reverent gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a little Crypt Ghast action. I actually like Crypt Ghast better than this, but if you need 2 copies, I was actually going to buy this a month or 2 ago, so I'm glad I waited, because hopefully it'll drop down to, I don't know, $12-14. We'll see. Next up we got Newscraft Mob. This is just a zombie tribal card. It enters the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters, and whenever a player casts a spell, you remove a 1/1 counter, and if you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So when we recur him, he's just a repeatable token engine. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, not just zombie tribal. If you're running any Shieldred or Marin or whatever, he's 6 mana, so it's not the best, but it will work. Next up, we've got Nixithid. 1 of any color, black for a creature element 7/7. When it comes into play, choose an opponent. He gets -1/-1 for each card in the chosen player's hand. So I want to throw this in the cube. I want to test it out, I mean, if we got enough discard theme in the cube and you can pick all those, we'll just have to see if it works. But a 7/7 for 3, I mean, if you're running heavy discard, that's going to be pretty sweet. Next we got Oresco's Explorer, 1 of any color and 1 white. When Oresco Explorer enters the battlefield, search your library for up to X planes cards, where X is the number of players who control more lands than you. Reveal those cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. So yeah, I mean, you're in mono white, you know, you get Eldrazi Displacer, and you can search all of the planes out of your deck and put them directly into your hand. It's going to be pretty sweet. Doesn't fit into a whole bunch of decks, but he is there if you need it. I mean, mono white, you're going to need the land selection. So next up, we've got another casual card, and this guy, this is just a fun card, man. 4 of any color. Red green for a creature dragon, 4/4 with flying, and whenever it attacks, you add red, 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 green, green, green to your mana pool until end of turn. This mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as steps and phases end. So yeah, I mean, you get double strike on this guy. It's just it's a fun card. Just a really fun card to play around with. Sorry about that. I'm kind of sick here, so my voice is kind of off and hard to breathe. But next up, we got another great reprint. Seedborn Muse, 3 of any color, green, green for a spirit, 2/4. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. So you get Leyline of Anticipation out, and you've got the new Prophet of Crufix. Super expensive Prophet, but yeah, I mean, this thing's just, you don't need to say anything about it, you know. Just untapping your permanents without Vidalcan Orrery or Leyline, you know, this is just super value, you know. I've got it in Reese the Redeemed now. It's the only deck that I got it in, and he makes a ton of tokens when she's on the battlefield. But yeah, I got a couple more decks she's gonna slot into, so hopefully we get it down to at least 15. I don't know, it's sitting at 27, we'll see. Next up, we've got Spell Seeker. 2 of any color and 1 blue for a 1/1 creature that says go find Cyclonic Rift. When Spell Seeker enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 2 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Yeah, I mean, this is just super nice tutor ability when it enters the battlefield. You know, you got, who else do you got in blue here? We got Deadeye Navigator, you know, search every 2-drop. I mean, this card's nuts, man. Yeah, I don't know, I like it a lot. You know, it's the second copy of Cyclonic Rift, but at least they printed Spell Snare, so that's gonna counter instant or sorcery with converted mana cost too. Yeah, I don't know if you want to run that in there, or maybe you can run that 4-drop counter spell they got printed. Let's get into something else here. We've got Sylvia Bright Spear, 2 of any color and 1 white for a legendary creature human knight, 2/2, and it says partner with a name I can't pronounce. That's not important. It has double strike, and dragons you control have double strike. So yeah, I mean, they just printed that 2017 Dragon Commander set. You know, dragons are a super popular theme, and this is just gonna give them all double strike, you know, for 3. Did they really need that much more power? I think it's a solid card. That'll definitely be fun to play. What do we got next here? We've got True Name Nemesis, 1 of any color, blue, blue, for a Merfolk Rogue, 3/1. As it enters the battlefield, choose a player. True Name Nemesis has protection from the chosen player. So yeah, this is a cube all-star, man. This thing's sitting at $30, so I hope you pull one and you can slot it right on into your cube. Because we're not going to be able to talk about it. It is not going to drop below $5, so I hope you guys get one. Next up, we've got Vigor, 3 of any color, green, 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 for a 6/6 element incarnation. It's got Trample. If damage would be dealt to a creature you control other than Vigor, prevent that damage and put 1/1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. When Vigor is put into the graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. I mean, this is just solid. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. You know, big green stompy. This is just making stuff outrageously out of control. Yeah, and I just bought one of these, and I don't know, maybe I'll get a couple more. I don't really need them in a lot of decks, but it's just a great card to have. I think I spent close to $20. It's down to 16 bucks, but you know, hopefully you get it for around 11, 12 bucks. We'll see. You know, let the set be out there for, you know, a month or so and watch these prices, and then just jump on them when you want the cards you need. You know, just watch the prices, watch them every other day or something, and you'll get some good deals. So let's talk about the last one on the list. We've got Virtuous the Veiled, 2 of any color and 1 black for a 1/1 Azra Assassin. I don't know if Azra is, I think that might be a new creature type. I'm not sure on that, but I've never seen him before. And it has partner with Gorm the Greater. This creature has Death Touch, and whenever Virtuous the Veiled deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life rounded up. So, I mean, it is legendary. It can be your general. The only problem, if you're trying to run a Voltron theme with him, you know, I mean, it's going to take 6 hits for him to kill someone, as opposed to running an Elder Dragon or something that's, you know, 7/7 where it's only going to take 3. It might do some work in the 99. I don't know. These types of cards really, you know, they seem really good, but when you play them, you know, you don't want to rely on this to kill people. You want to rely on this to take people's life total halfway down and then attack them with some other creatures. But yeah, I mean, you get Myriad on this guy, that Blade of Selves on him. Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So that pretty much does it for everything out of Battlebond that I saw that I'd want to put anywhere. So we got a lot of EDH stuff, you know, got some 60 card casual stuff, we got some cube. I mean, this is just a great set. I hope you guys have fun drafting. Maybe make a, you know, if you like this, maybe make a 2-headed giant deck, and you and your teammate can play that every once in a while. Just a lot of good reprints. This is super fun set to see. So that does it for today. I'll be back here probably Monday with another video. If you guys want to get a hold of me or tell me some cards that I missed, you can get a hold of me on Twitter at UTBGameco. You can email me at underthebridgegameco.com. You can visit my website, or the email is at gmail.com, and then you just visit my website for the .com. You can find me wherever podcasts are heard, or Anchor, you know, YouTube at Kitchen Table Mtg. And hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better, and you know, my voice isn't as crappy next time I record. So you guys have a good day and have fun playing Battlebond. Music by bensound.com.